Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new Breakout Solutions live stream. I'm your host, Matt Batiri, here with my co-host, Wasim Debussy. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. That's actually how you've got to be as a hodler. You've got to not look at the prices and just keep you focused on the long term, right?
That's right, guys. And think of it as opportunity. Like, it wasn't that long ago, we were at 15,500. Everyone's like, we're going to zero. We pump up to 25. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'll buy at 25. And now it comes down to 20. No, I'm not going to buy at 20. It's probably going to go lower. It's going to keep going low. It's going to keep going lower. We're dollar cost averaging in, guys. We've gone into the market for the last two legs. We bought some crypto at 22,500. We bought some this morning at 20,000. We're going to buy more when we go down to 19, 17, 15 if we go to that. So this is just opportunity. We're going to talk about a lot of FUD in the media today. We're still in the bear market. Just don't think because we pumped up 50% that things have changed. They're not. We're still technically in a bear market till we see a higher low. And it could take some months for us to form this higher low. So we can range between 25 and 15,500 for quite a period of time. As long as we don't go below 15.5, obviously that'll probably bring us down to around about the 10 to 13 mark. But look, hey guys, I've got a big smile on my face. I see this as opportunity. I'm buying crypto. And what about you, Wasim? What are you doing?
Mate, I'm definitely dollar cost averaging in. I've been doing it all year.
Yeah, like it's never a bad time to buy the strongest asset in history that will continue to grow. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into the news. We got some news from Biden. So why don't you take us away with what Biden?
All right, guys. So some pretty disturbing news coming out of the US, and also there's some good news actually, which we don't have any articles on it today. So the SEC. The SEC's Binance was actually approved to buy Voyager's assets, and the SEC was actually opposing that, and that recently got overthrown by a judge, which is great for the Voyager investors because it means they get paid out in full now. But we're still seeing the Operation Choke Point 2.0 coming in full effect with more and more things coming out of the Biden administration to try and crack down on crypto. So the latest one is Biden wants to double capital gains and clamp down on crypto wash sales reports. So this report is coming out that in the new budget that the Biden administration is trying to is going to be releasing. Actually, will be releasing today in America because they're a day behind us. What they're looking at doing is almost trying to reduce the deficit by almost $3 trillion over the next decade. Now, mind you, this is a country that has over $33 trillion in debt, and they're trying to reduce the debt of $3 trillion, so 10% of the debt over a 10-year period. So that's how far they are behind, and this is why they're trying so hard to raise in taxes. They're going to try and get rid of the crypto wash rule. So in America, you're allowed to sell your crypto for a loss and then purchase it again instantly, and then it's called tax harvesting. This is not legal in Australia. It's not legal in Canada, but it is legal in America at the moment. And you could actually do it through a lot of like Coinly and some of the other apps out there that they will just sell your crypto. You've got you've realized the loss, and then you purchase it straight away. So you're back in the market. Now, you used to be able to do that in America to be able to claim some tax credits. They're looking at removing that. Another thing that they're also looking at doing is increasing the crypto capital gains tax from 20% to 39.6% for long-term investments. So this is another way they're looking at trying to extract more and more money out of crypto. We've also seen with Silvergate, they've tried to, or Silvergate and they clamped down on trying to get more and more crypto banks not to interact with crypto, not be able to onboard crypto is a big thing that's happening over there in America. So we knew regulation is going to come, and this is the regulation coming now after the FTX debacle last year.
Yeah, and look, I don't know about some of these numbers. Like it's pretty scary to sort of double the tax someone's got to pay on hard-earned assets. So look, it'll be interesting to see what's coming. But when these regulations come, guys, what you need to think about is the governments are getting scared. This is why they're bringing in these regulations. They're scared of losing power, obviously the US are afraid of the US dollar losing its value to other units of currency. So they're bringing in these stuff to really to make people fearful about getting into the market. Because as soon as you hear this, people are like, oh, nah, it's going to go to zero, right? It's going to go to zero. But we can clearly see that the chart is going up and to the right. So basically every time in a bear market, we're going to see these regulations come in. But at the end of the day, you can send me some Bitcoin without a third party, and they're afraid of that. They want to take a piece of their pie in every transaction that we spend. Look at your bank account, overdraw fees, hosting fees. There's fees all over the place. They need to make their money somehow. And it's just funny the power and the length that governments will go to in order to crack down on crypto. That's why El Salvador has probably had an increase in Westerners moving to that country, because it's a Bitcoin sovereign state. People want to live in freedom in a democracy. So this is just getting a bit out of hand. And the quicker countries can adopt cryptocurrencies, those countries' GDP and the lifestyle of the indigenous people from that country are going to be so much better, because Westerners with a lot of money, with a lot of crypto, are going to want to move to those places to avoid taxes and also live a great life.
That's right. I agree. I was actually having a conversation with someone today about this. They're looking they're trying to live off the grid. And was having a conversation. I was like, yeah, for me, I'm actually starting to think about moving over to El Salvador and whatnot. And look, El Salvador right now is a very, very attractive option for a lot of people. You can still buy a beachfront house for $300,000-$400,000. Like you can buy a beachfront mansion for $300,000-$400,000. You can't even buy a granny flat for that price here in Sydney right now. So plus they've got now the lowest crime rate in all of America. So they're the safest country in America right now. It just is becoming more and more obvious what can happen when you move out to Bitcoin.
Because the president is also reinvesting the profits into infrastructure for the country to attract more and more people. So he doesn't
have any profits at the moment. It's the profits that are coming in from the investment coming from outside. So the increase in tourism, the freedom, no mandates, businesses,
taxes on actual businesses.
Yeah. So he hasn't made profits from Bitcoin. I mean, let's be honest, they are in a loss because they purchased Bitcoin around 50,000. I think their average cost was around $40,000 a Bitcoin. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they are actually in the loss, but they're hodling. So it's a paper.
And they're dollar cost averaging though. They're dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, they're buying Bitcoin.
They bought some at 15,500, guys. So if they bought some at 15,500, that lowers your average buy price. That's what dollar cost averaging does. So even though, as Wasim said, they bought at 50,000, if you're buying at 15, that brings your average price down to about 30. You're laughing. That means you only got to get to 30 to become break even. And we know that this asset's going to continue growing until the next best thing for digital currency comes out. All right. Anyways, moving on. India's anti-money laundering laws will now apply to crypto transactions. So India's finance ministry has mandated that cryptocurrency exchanges report suspicious activity to the Financial Intelligence Unit. The government also brought cryptocurrency transactions under the armpit of its anti-money laundering provisions, which mandate that local exchanges conduct know your client due diligence on their users. The decision will also require such entities to maintain records of all transactions above $12,200 for at least 5 years. These measures are part of the global effort to clamp down on cryptocurrencies and their use in money laundering. In India, the government's decision could help legitimize the crypto sector, which was threatened with a ban last year. So look, behind China, India is probably the second biggest country that continuously brings out Bitcoin being banned, blah, 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 blah. But it's also one of the most corrupt countries. They've got over 1 billion people. If you talk to most Indians, that government is just, it's, 99% of the people are poor, the 1% are really rich. So once again, there is an entity, Bitcoin, that can help people become financially independent and also separate themselves from the Indian government and the things that they're doing poorly, and just transact amongst themselves, peer-to-peer transactions. So every time a government is under fire, they're going to try and do something to slow down this growth, because at the end of the day, they can't slow things down. Okay, there's why in France, we the people, the French, we had the revolution because the king and the queen didn't do good by its people, and then the people, chopped their heads off. So we're past those times now. Hopefully, we're not chopping off.
I don't think France has passed those times. There was some pretty bad.
Yeah. Look, but the most recent thing where we've come as close as possible to that was the riot at Capitol Hill. If you think about it, they weren't in session, but I reckon some people would have died if there was actually some politicians in there at any point. So I want you to think that's probably the closest we've ever come to like a country, a first world country that bears arms, that actually wants to stand up for themselves. We could see some scary stuff in the future where we see more presidential political assassination attempts, stuff like that. There's going to be some crazy stuff. If people are struggling to live, and as an example, here on the Gold Coast where I live in Australia, the rental crisis is unbelievable. Like the vacancy rate is less than 0.05%. It's really difficult to get a property right now. Inflation's through the roof. It's going crazy. So when people start struggling, they're going to start committing crimes. They're going to start also taking things into their own hands so they can protect themselves and protect their family. So if things get worse and worse, and countries like India ban their people to invest in something that can liberate them from the financial shackles that India possesses, because it's a third world country, they're going to do it. And the government's going to do everything in their power to squash these minorities down, to keep them in the lower class, because the lower class, guess who they serve and work for? They work for the upper class. So they need people to stay poor. Man, I'm on a rant tonight. All right.
You really are, man. Like I'm loving it. You really are on a rant today. I think that inner beast is waking up in you. You're starting to wake up and see the reality of the world. I like that, because you watch way too much mainstream media, and sometimes I'll find some of your.
But you know why I watch it? I watch it to see what false information they're telling us. That's why I watch it.
I get that, but
I want to see what bullshit they're spinning, because then I can talk about it on this show about, they're blaming this on inflation or this or the Ukraine. Whereas really it's, it is what it is. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to WeChat.
Let's move on to another rant, which is WeChat. WeChat integrates digital yuan into its payment platform. So if you don't know what WeChat is the everything app of China. If you don't know what that is, I would highly recommend you Google Tencent, the company, and look up who they are on YouTube. There are some videos about it. I was watching a documentary about it the other day, and how Tencent started and how WeChat started with ICQ and everything else. It's been around for a long time. This one app controls everything that the Chinese people do. They pay their bills for it, they pay their rent, they get paid inside of it, they order food, it's got their ID, it's got everything is in one app, and it's one way that the Chinese Communist Party controls the Chinese people. So even if you're outside of China and you need to download WeChat, I would highly, highly recommend you use a completely separate device and don't put it on your main device, because you don't know what backdoors are in there. You don't know what information they're gathering on you. But basically, WeChat is the one app that controls everything in China. Now they are integrating the digital yuan, which is the Chinese CBDC, the central bank digital currency. Previously, it was only available on Alipay, but because everybody relies on WeChat, it makes sense to go onto WeChat. And now I think it's in like 56 different, what was it? I think it's like 26 different Chinese provinces and cities where they are trialing and piloting the digital yuan, and people are because the Chinese people don't have much of a choice, they're actually taking it up. So this is what happens when your freedom gets taken away from you, when you have to do what government says, and when you have an app like WeChat that has everything. So whenever you hear someone talking about an everything app, you want to run the hell away from them, because an everything app means they control everything in one app. You can get locked out of that app at any given time, and you're locked out of the system.
Alrighty. Whoa, what a red day. Only a few. Clayton, Carver, Aptos doing well. Everything else suffering along with Bitcoin. But when I see red, I see opportunity. So, guys, hopefully you feel the same. Bitcoin at 20,000. So, hovering at its 2017.
Ooh,
yeah.
I didn't see that. When did that happen?
Yeah, it happened today, bro.
Oh, last time I looked this morning, it was still 21,000 something.
Yeah, we've dumped. So look, guys, opportunity out there. Lots of great tokens for sale. This is a pretty good pullback. Basically, anytime I see a pullback over 15%, I definitely jump in, because it's opportunity. Fear and Greed down to 34. So it has taken.
Do you think it'll keep going down?
Yeah, I think we're going to go to the golden pocket, which is around 19,200. So that's where I've got a lot of buy orders, 19,200 golden pocket, guys. Alrighty, let's move on to Twitter. We got Gary G. As chair of the SEC, I have one goal with regards to crypto markets: to ensure that investors and the markets will receive all the protections that they would in any other securities market. How? Read my OPED in at the Hill. So, guys, I'd love to read some of these comments, but you know, you're going to have some. Hopefully, you've got some real good crypto enthusiasts. I'm full on corrupt. Yeah, I'd say this would be some good ones. I might actually go through this thread later to see some of the results, because I think it'd be a good laugh. Anyways, I would love if somehow someone could find out and hack him to see if he's actually bought any crypto. You would assume 100% no, but it would be so funny if there was a transaction that was just, you know, it was found out that he's actually bought some crypto. He's KYC'd to like Coinbase or some American site. It'd be so funny.
Yeah. So look, I think with this, I think the reason why, I mean, he's been trying to go hard against crypto for a while, as we all know, but the SEC has had a couple of big blows this week. Mainly, as I said, they tried to block Binance from buying out Voyager assets and paying out all the debtors and all the clients, and a judge overthrew that. A few other lawyers have spoken up against the SEC, especially with the Ripple case and XRP. So, you know, a few weeks ago, they looked like they were in a strong position, and things are starting to turn against them right now. So it makes sense for Gary Gensler to come out and try and pump his chest. They say he's trying to protect investors, when in reality, he's trying to harm investors. If they really wanted investors to be protected, they would have allowed Binance to buy out Voyager and their assets and pay everybody out, so nobody would have lost any money. But they didn't want that to happen. And obviously, they're cracking down on Paxos and the stable coins and Ethereum and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's going to be an interesting year, guys. We told you this. I think we had a good couple of months, January and February, and I think now we're starting to see the blood in the streets. And I think we're going to start to see some volatility moving forward.
Alrighty, mate, take us away for the next tweet.
All right, so the next one is Shiba Army. I'm thrilled to announce the Shiba Army public beta will be launching this week. Make sure you're following our official socials over the next few days as we reveal all the details and how to access the beta site, Hail Shiba. So obviously there's a new announcement with Shiba. I'm not a fan of Shiba, to be honest. I think it's, you know, if you are going to play around with meme coins, just know that they are very, very dangerous. They don't have many use cases, so only invest a very, very minimal amount. But it's also good to see, you know, what is happening in there, because you get to understand what the market is doing. I mean, this has had 14,500 likes. It's had 472 tweets. 5,355 retweets. and it's had over 1 million views. So you know that, you know, once they launch this, it's going to have a bit of a pump. But with anything, after every pump, there is a dump.
2 rules in investing: follow the money and follow the community. And Shiba somehow is a top 20 coin on CoinMarketCap. But guys, that's why I do invest in meme coins. I mean, I don't believe in anything that they do, but that's where a lot of the big communities are. So follow the communities and you will make some easy money. All right, we got Jeff Booth here. If your mental model of the world relies on 1, trusted institutions that know what they are doing, or 2, money manipulation that doesn't have negative consequences, and 3, that they that everything is fine, you're going to be in for some very big surprises. Man, what a hard read that was for a tweet.
It wasn't that hard, bro.
He's got to double that. I don't know what he's done there. And that. You put me off.
So basically what he's saying, if you're trusting institutions, you think money manipulations are all right, and you think everything's going to be okay in the world, you've got some big surprises coming. And you really need to wake up. You need to understand what's happening. You need to understand who's controlling who and why we are where we are right now and what they have in store for us in the future.
Guys, we talked about it on Tuesday. I think the number is 474 million people worldwide are in crypto. That's basically, I think we're at 8 billion. So that's 1/16 of the world. You know, get yourself a pie, cut it in half again the other way, cut it in half, and then cut it again all in half. And 1/16. And we're coming in fast. We're going to come in fast. We're going to be at 1 billion people soon. That would be the entire population of China or India. That's pretty crazy to think.
And once we get 1 billion, guys, that means it's mainstream. That is when it's considered to be mainstream.
Alrighty, mate. Take us away.
All right. So Amazon NFTs will be tied to real-world assets token possible. So Amazon has, I think we spoke about this last year. Amazon put out some ads for blockchain developers and whatnot. Now it looks like they are about to launch their own NFT platform. They haven't said which blockchain they're going to be using, but basically you can buy G's off Amazon and they'll have an NFT with it, which will authenticate the ownership. One of the big challenges though is, and some of the criticism that Amazon's getting is, where's the education coming? How are they going to teach someone, how to set up a MetaMask, how to store their NFTs and whatnot? So they've got a bit of work to do, but they do have 167 million users in Amazon Prime in America. So they can easily market to them and get all these people on the Amazon NFT. So it could be quite a big deal. And these guys are it's one of the largest companies in the world, which just tells us more to what Matty was saying. This is going to become mainstream sooner or later.
Alrighty, next we have, for those of you that like baseball, the baseball fans can now instantly receive Bitcoin after Perth Heat's most exciting plays. So one of the most successful franchise in baseball history in Australia. I know it's not the NBL, national, but no, not the NBL. What's the bloody baseball one called? I forget the baseball league in America.
Baseball league, I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, it's off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. Anyways, the Perth Heat's Australia's most successful baseball team has partnered with Bitterfield wallet of Satoshi and Ibex to reward fans with Bitcoin whenever a player from the team steals a base or hits a home run. Fans can scan a QR code displayed on the game screen or social media channels when a player makes an impressive play to receive an instant reward. The Perth Heat became the first professional sports team to adopt Bitcoin as its currency standard in 2021 and integrated Lightning. They introduced Sats for Stats to boost fans' favorite players through the Lightning Network, and the new Stats program aims to further incentivize players and enhance the fan experience. So that's a great thing. I think that if they do play out in Sydney, I'd love to go check them out and see if they do it at away games as well. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people don't know these, but Perth Heat actually became went to a Bitcoin standard in 2021, and they pay all their employees with Bitcoin, all their assets in Bitcoin. I actually know someone who partners with them over there in Perth, so they're pretty big on Bitcoin over there, and they've done a couple of things where now you can stealing SaaS where, when they do this, like in the games and whatnot, they've got other ways in which they encourage people to use Bitcoin and download a Lightning wallet. So it's good to see this happening because it increases, awareness and will increase adoption.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, Latin America. Latin American travel agency Despaga begins accepting crypto payments. So we've reported quite a lot about a whole bunch of different places in Latin America where adoption is going absolutely crazy. Now this is the first travel agency in Latin America that is now teaming up with Binance, where people can pay for crypto in Argentina. So it's not the first one in the world; it's just the first one in Argentina. And they're looking at rolling this out in other countries. Basically, you can use your Binance Pay and your Binance card to be able to pay for anything you want at this Paga. And this makes it, and this is just another company that's taken on crypto as a form of payment. And the more and more this happens, the more and more we're going to become mainstream. So, as I said last year, and I said it again and again and again, the places to be looking at for crypto adoption is Latin America and Africa. Those two continents are going to be adopting crypto so much. And I think in the next bull run, the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see more and more of these countries out of there adopting, I believe, in my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. But I believe in the next couple of years, we're going to see the next country that will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender will come out of either Latin America or come out of Africa.
I'd love to see a first world country adopt Bitcoin. I think that's going to be the biggest shaker in the entire space. But look, at the end of the day, any country that brings Bitcoin on as legal tender is going to be amazing. What are you going to say?
I think hoping or waiting for a first world country, as we like to call ourselves, or a Western country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. I think that's a bit of a pipe dream, at least for the next 15, 20 years. I don't see that happening. My personal opinion is you're going to see a lot of developing countries adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Then you're going to see, the second world countries like probably like even like Russia, like Pakistan. These countries, those middle range countries, some of Eastern European countries might start adopting it, and then you'll start seeing some Middle Eastern countries. Asian countries, and I think the last countries you're going to see adopting Bitcoin is going to be Western countries. They're going to hold on with tooth and nail, with everything they can onto the fiat system before they give up, before they give in defeat. If you look at the Roman Empire and how it collapsed, it didn't collapse overnight. It was gradual, little bit by little bit, and everyone kept holding on to the hope that it's going to come back. It's going to come back, and we're starting to see that now with the petrodollar. More and more countries are going away from the petrodollar, looking at other ways to accept payments. And the US and the West and the world and the IMF and the World Bank are trying to hold on and try to believe that this is not happening. And sooner or later, they're going to wake up and realize that the whole world is no longer using the dollar.
Well said. All right, guys, that wraps up another live stream. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications for our channel. It really helps us grow. We appreciate it. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week, and hopefully, you're buying some crypto. These opportunities don't come very often. So, peace out, and see you next week.
See you later, guys.